spread one love, okay? Thanks for tuning in to us, the MNM Show.
MNM Show.
And Happy New Year, everyone. Welcome back to another fresh episode of the MNM Show, coming at you live at the One Love Massive Creative Factory. With all the sound effects in full effect today.
That's right.
Why? Because it's 2018 and that's just who we are and what we do. It's lit.
It is super lit.
So I'm really excited to be back here with you ladies. Haven't seen you in about 2 weeks. Been taking a little breaky break.
Yeah, I haven't seen you since like last year, yo.
Oh, clever.
Yeah.
How's y'all's yours going so far?
So far, so good.
Killing it.
Yeah.
Killing it.
Yeah.
My year's
totally.
been pretty fucking awesome so far. Whole year been great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Whole year.
It's going to stay that way.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. On purpose.
Right here.
Yes. Yes. Right?
Right
Well, I'm pretty excited about today's show because it's just the three of us. And, I thought, what, we should set the tone for the year and, just reconnect and do some reflections on lessons we learned over last year and also talk about, some for the culture stuff, what in our humble but great opinions was hot in 2017 and the most impactful on local DC scene and the national scene, global scene, wherever you want to go. We get metaphysical. You know how it is. And also let people know what's coming up in DC in 2018 and what we want to project and have in our lives. So, we're going to have a good old wholesome show here today, folks.
Lies. Wholesome.
Said
You invite
as
some hoes up?
the J is sparked. So I like to start off our show with our table offerings. We have our Frida
Kahlo
candle again. Always a
Let me light her
symbol.
up.
Let's light her up.
We need a little guidance from old Frida.
Yo,
We do.
I
Always a
fucking
symbol of
love her
strength.
and her
too.
unibrow. And
She's
how
like,
thick
fuck you.
and just, she was the originator of selfies. Like, she was like, yeah, and another selfie. Take a picture of me painting myself.
You're right.
That's a selfie of a selfie.
The original selfie.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
long game commitment too. Like,
It is.
painting a selfie.
It is.
Seriously.
And she kept painting them.
There is a lot of, I never thought about that, but there are a lot of paintings.
Dog,
of
that's
her.
so ballin'. And like just knowing all the things about her life and all the accidents and the broken, the crooked back and the uneven leg and all of the physical things that she was going through. And she still was like, I'm going to paint a selfie. Fuck
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like
Look at me.
the amount of security that that's what I get from her art. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, that's
There's
dope.
more stuff on the table, but man, shout outs to Frida.
Shout
man.
out to Frida.
Like she's why my hair is blue and big and like, yeah, I'm me and I love me as I am.
I love you too, J man.
Thank you.
I love you too.
Oh, I love you guys too.
It's good to be back.
I'm gonna love me tonight.
Oh, wisdom nugget. Where's our wisdom nugget graphic?
There's so many ways to love ourselves.
There are so many ways. Wait a minute. Sorry.
Naughty
Pull up.
Nina's about
Pull
to
up.
come
I know
out.
she did. She came
Out.
out.
That was Naughty Nina,
Yes.
It is.
who is also a queen
She is.
of her own destiny and her body and her decisions as to what she does with her life and her body,
In her mouth, yeah.
which is part of her body. But yes,
I'm on 10, yo.
you are.
2018. Shout outs to us.
So I brought this crown as a symbol for all women and femmes and cool guys alike to be in 2018 rulers of your life and your destiny, and to make conscious decisions about what you want to do and how you want to act, and just know that you are royalty and a creation of God and of this universe, or whatever you think you got here, how you got here. You are a creation and deserve to be respected, self-respected, and have others respect you. So this is a little symbol of that to go into the year, and I think that both of you are queens.
Oh, my, thank you.
Thank you.
And then lastly, because I'm that person, I have a new planner.
Oh, snap.
That's a cute planner. I like the mermaid.
Isn't it? Oh my God, it's so cute. And I got it at Michael's, and they're having a 60% off sale on planners, yo. So if you want to get your life in order and get excited about it the way I do, planning your quarters, your half year mark, and having some deliberate benchmarks to measure yourself and your goals, go ahead and get yourself a planner. Or if you just like to write things down and have lists, you can check things off and feel productive.
Right now. You're so smiley.
I got a planner.
I love
and it's cute.
planners. Yes.
Turquoise and
It
gold.
is.
It has a mermaid on it.
It is pretty awesome.
It's an awesome planner, dude.
No, and I'm not going to open it up because this is not the planner show, but I almost just did. I'm
That's
that
next,
excited. Yes.
Get organized with Nikki MG.
Really, it should be a show. Anyway, no, it
No.
shouldn't. It really shouldn't.
First, start with color coding.
But yeah, now is a great time to plan. A lot of organizations and businesses are in their strategic planning mode for the year so that they know their goals and they're clear about it and, can move forward with intention. And I brought the planner as a symbol and a reminder of that for all of us on the individual level as well.
Nice.
Or however you do it. Do some planning for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
But you know what? When I was in my 20s, I didn't have a planner. I like to make lists and everything. And I might make like one list at the beginning of the year. This is what I like to do. And then never think about it ever again.
Right.
And just kind of live freely and explore and discover. I think that's okay too. I'm just in the planning phase of my life.
I'm in it. I've turned over a whole new leaf, ladies. I'm a new me. You might not recognize me. I don't want to freak you out.
What's going on?
Well, I quit social media, but I already feel better.
What?
It's been like 40 hours, not even. It's been like 36 hours. And that's
So no
same.
Facebook, no Instagram, no
Twitter.
Twitter,
It's
no
affected my math
Tumblr.
skills significantly.
It's been 2 weeks.
I mean,
2
a day and a half.
days. A day. A day and a half.
Yes, I stopped as of yesterday morning. I woke up. I said goodbye, cruel world.
Yeah,
How
man.
long is this break going to
I
be?
mean, I would like to say forever, but that's not going to happen. At least a month.
You've been
Yeah.
off all year, though. That's major.
Dude, I haven't been on social media all year.
Yeah.
You guys are
Lit.
so corny.
Dude,
We're so corny.
I'm that person that will wish you like a happy new year, like even if it's June, if I haven't seen you.
I do that, too.
And people are like, "How? Why? It was January." I'm like, "Yeah, but I haven't seen you since last December." And they're like, "How do
Yeah.
you know that?" I'm like, "I don't fucking know.
I think
Honestly, I can't remember shit."
I'm going
but
to do
I
a
remember
poll.
that.
Like, different people have different feelings, but when do you stop saying Happy New Year?
Until you see the motherfucker. Well, maybe like summertime.
I don't know. I'm kind of like after a couple of weeks in January.
Nah, man. It's
I'm
it's
somewhere between MLK and Valentine's Day.
I'm like fucking Memorial Day. For real. I mean, if I haven't seen you, I like to
Yeah,
wish
it
people a
makes
happy
sense.
new year. That's a pretty neutral. You can't really offend anybody. You can be like, "Oh, I don't celebrate that." Like, what the fuck are you talking? It's a calendar.
What if they don't celebrate our calendar?
But it's a new year. I mean, it's like like the Persian New Year. I mean, I say that to people too, but New Year. I feel like it's not a religious thing. New Year's not religious, is it?
I don't want to get too political, but
I don't know.
yes.
I mean,
I don't know. This is
See,
really
look.
hilarious to me.
no, see, even saying Happy New Year is like politically incorrect now. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Happy solar fucking rotations, you miserable motherfuckers. Enjoy your goddamn planet. I'll shut the fuck up. Is that better? Like, what?
Oh my gosh.
See?
I'm sorry, you were just so cute. You were like, it's New Year. Come on.
Someone's like, actually, that's really insensitive to the new month and the new day. So
And my
I
new
think you're
moon.
leaving things out, and I think that's inappropriate.
But you brought up a very valid point. Moon. Many cultures celebrate lunar years. Like, they don't even have the same months. Shout outs to the Jewish folks, and shout outs to my folks with Islam that respect the lunar years and stay in with that, like word to Ramadan. And even Christianity, like, people don't even know why Easter isn't on the same day and how it's even figured out, because we didn't use a solar year. Like, this
because
is
it's like
arbitrary as fuck,
made-up
and the
story.
whole world falls for it. Words
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Maybe
But we
we
decided.
should just say, like, happy life.
We should just
Yeah.
grunt and nod at people.
Na.
Someone will be like, I lost my vocal cords in an accident. I can't grunt, and I feel like you're leaving me out of that greeting.
I feel like, every day is a blessing. Happy New Day. Happy New Day.
You're
Happy,
live.
Happy You Day.
Happy you're still breathing.
Yeah.
That's why I just kind of say it for a couple weeks afterwards. And then if I see him, like, hey, what's up? How's it going? What's good?
Haven't seen you since
know?
last year.
With the ha!
Yeah.
Every time afterwards.
It's like, I'm going on. I'm going to say it until I see the motherfucker. It's going to be September. And I'm like,
Happy New Year.
finally.
I saw you this
Happy
year.
New Year.
Haven't seen you since 17. Crazy times, right?
I'm just saying.
I like this. I like this. Well, I'm curious, ladies, reflecting a little bit on 2017. 2017 was quite a year on a number of issues and topics, and some horrific things, and I guess some pretty cool things too. I want to focus on the cool things and keep it positive, because we want to have positive energy going into 2018.
Indeed.
And so being that this is One Love Massive and the house of local DC music, I want to talk about some for the culture shit, like
Dope.
who do we think was the hottest and most impactful artists locally, nationally, globally, anyway, because we're metaphysical here. We don't have boundaries. That each of us individually thinks. It doesn't have to be, like deep analysis and, this is like you personally.
I'm sorry.
What was impactful on you and why? So...
I'm sorry, I had the J. I was like, Molly? Did the opposite of what I wanted it to do.
Well, let's start off with Molly, actually, because this is the Molly Nikki Mills show.
Oh, Jesus.
But we'll do one at a time.
Okay.
So give us a little bit of space. So, like, 5 artists or culturally significant, bands, artists, maybe like top 5 each, and we'll go kind
I
of
think we should do one at a time.
one at a time.
That way
yeah.
I can...
Roll up
That's right.
and focus as well.
Roll up. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to start with mine. She's the most recent in my mind. She's not a local talent, but her name is Tash Sultana, and she's a artist out of Australia. And she's like 21 or 23 or something like that. She's self-taught. She can play like 23 different instruments or something ridiculous.
Damn.
And she's self-taught. And she does this super cool thing with all these guitar pedals and looping. So she's a one-man act, and she can like play guitar and keys and MPC. She even beatboxes.
Wow.
She's just like this random white girl from Australia. And she apparently ate mushrooms, I think the story goes, or smoked weed or something. And I think it was mushrooms, and went into a bad trip for like an entire month.
Ooh.
And
Mushrooms?
Yeah, I know. I was like,
That's
girl,
Sounds
Yes.
like acid to me.
I don't know what happened, but it was something. She did something that shouldn't have made that. That it shouldn't have happened. So who knows what it was. And she came out of that, and it really impacted like her mission. And she's like, I'm gonna be who the fuck I am with no apologies. And she makes this music that's just super ethereal and trippy. And she's like the next Stevie Ray Vaughan. Like, she shreds the guitar, and she just like.
Tash Sultana.
When you watch her like eyes roll back into her head when she's just like jamming, and it's fucking mesmerizing and captivating. And she's like wears like she's almost seems kind of gender fluid, she's like got a lot of masculine qualities to her dress and the way she is, but her voice is like an angel. She's got lots of tattoos. You know, you just can't really pin her down, which I really like. You know, like you can't tell anything really about her gender, her preference, or anything like that, like, which I really appreciate. And she's just got this beautiful voice, and she's an incredibly talented artist, and I love watching her because I know that lots of little girls and women all around the world are watching that, and they're getting liberated the way you are liberated by Frida over here, because she's so herself, and like when she's in this zone, the faces she's making are not necessarily attractive, but you can tell that she's just like channeling some shit, and she's not allowing her ego to fuck that up, and she's just like, blah, like let it come through me, and you can feel it and you can see it, and it's so empowering and liberating, even as a grown-ass woman, to watch this not so grown-ass young woman like do that. It makes me feel better. It makes me want to be stronger, and she's got a dope voice and a really great sound. So that's my number one for right now.
All right.
Yeah.
I learned something new. I was not familiar with this artist. So.
Me neither.
Dope. She's super dope.
Awesome. Well, let me see. I will give a shout out on my top 5 list, starting with Logic, actually, as a local artist, but also clearly on the national scene. The album that he dropped this year was just like really impactful to me in my mind. When I listen to Logic rap, it's, I just kind of feel like it's my homie from around the way telling about, his life and what has really happened, and I relate to a lot of it. And this last album in particular, the track with Killer Mike, where he's just, like, very honestly and rawly like questioning God, like why are the conditions the way they are. It's just really powerful and moving. And then also his song Everybody, it just, I'm somebody that for the last 10 years have been working intentionally in communities of color and Black and immigrant communities for economic justice. And at these circles a lot, you really have to frame and think about the racial implications of policies or, workplace conditions, etc. on people. And as a person of color, like, you constantly are having to insert, like, this is how it impacts this community, this is how it impacts this community, because a lot of time it's not on lawmakers or big nonprofits agenda, so you have to like make it plain, you have to make it clear. And I've gotten into a shape of like always having to defend or like bring up the racial component of life and how things affect us. And listening to Logic's album kind of like took me back to a more innocent time, if you will, where he just says everybody's people, everybody bleeds, everybody needs something, and regardless if you're Black, white, Asian, whatever, it's just that we all need love, we all need something, and everybody is fighting to define themselves and define the world and America and what that means and their place in it. And just I don't know, it just makes me like reflect on my own identity, and it was refreshing. So that Logic, shout out to Logic.
Whoop, whoop.
This year, absolutely. What about you, Mills?
Well, musically, I really have to give a shout out to Childish Gambino.
Word.
As an artist that is multi-talented, I play the keys, I write songs, I do poetry, and I have this story to tell. The project that I'm working on now, The Beautiful Mind, which is like the soundtrack to my life. I have been really drawn upon a lot of older inspirations like Andre 3000 with The Love Below, and like Lauryn Hill and The Miseducation. And so it's been a very long time. Common B. That was a great album. My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Kanye. That's the type of vein that I'm in. But I mean, I think that was probably the latest album. Oh, Beyonce, Lemonade, Rihanna. Another highlights of the year. But I feel like
2017 or was that 2016?
Anti was this year, wasn't it?
Lemonade was last year.
Anti though? Rihanna's joint?
I don't know.
That was 2016.
I don't even know Anti.
Yo, that album is off the chain.
Tell me how you really
Needed
feel.
Me was the song of this year, wasn't it?
Yeah, but shit, let's look it up.
At any rate, all right, this wasn't even about her, but yeah, look it up while I bring it back to Childish Gambino,
Rihanna
which definitely
is of all time.
started this year off with his project, and I mean, it was very bold. Critics try to just drag him through the mud so bad with it, which is
Really?
crazy to me. I'm like, what
That
album did
is
they listen
everything.
to? They were like,
Yes.
we thought we were gonna hear a rapper. He's not rapping. What is it? But for me, that project was one of the best projects of the year, flat out.
By the way, Rihanna's Anti-album came out January 28th, 2016. So yeah,
Whoa.
it's just been flowing strong and hard for 2 years, just like the Lemonade album and Solange's album as well. So anyway, back to 2017. Childish Gambino. I think Childish Gambino's album actually came out technically in like November of 2016, but was like strong
yeah.
again throughout 2016. But anyway,
I don't know. The time is starting to blend, but I definitely attach it with last year and a general emergence of a lot of different types of artists, different types of music, very honest works. Like, I'm very happy to see the album return. Just that whole concept of a complete work of art, not just a bunch of singles, but that this is a composed thought. And no matter what it is that that thought may happen to be, how high or low or conscious or whatever, the fact that it's connected and people are making these types of projects, I'm loving it.
yeah, I feel like we're definitely going through like a new, I don't know what to call it, but like a Black Harlem Renaissance moment sort of again, like in music, because
Word to 444.
yeah, that, the Lemonade album, Solange's album, Childish Gambino, the Logic album, the De La Soul album, and Tribe Called Quest albums, again, like all of and so much more, right? Just like a lot
Kendrick.
of yes, all of Kendrick's albums, which he's actually number 2, or actually whatever number, he's on my top 5. Kendrick Lamar, absolutely. But yeah, like it's a powerful moment in the Black arts right now. Yes. Molly, number 2.
Wednesday Love.
Wednesday Love. Tell us about Wednesday Love.
Wednesday Love. You can find her right down the hall most days in the recording studio. She has a YouTube video that Beyond Studios just put out called Twice. And she's fucking dope, man. She's super dope. I met her through Kofi. She's been in and out of the building for months. And I've heard some of her music, but I saw this video and this song just spoke to me. And she's just an incredible fucking alien of a human. Like, she's just...
When you really like people, they're aliens to you.
Oh, for sure. Like, Candace Mills an alien. Jay Mills is an
Yes.
alien.
I am an
like,
alien, though.
You, Hunter, I know. So is Candace Mills. Have you ever seen her perform? I mean, just her whole... She's otherworldly, you know what I mean? Like, just straight up. And Wednesday has those qualities, and she's super young, and she's just really creative and really talented, and it's just awesome to like witness that. It's almost like if you were there when Aretha started singing or when Amy first started recording. It's like I can see that about her, and she's magic, you know what I mean? She's really magic, and it's cool to be a part of that story. Because her music is so incredibly powerful. So, yeah.
Check her out, Wednesday Love.
Wednesday. It's WINZDAY. Love.
That's dope. Doing it for the local culture.
Hey man,
One Love Massive.
That's where my
For the
heart's
culture.
Yes. That's hot. Well, I already said my number 2, and that's Kendrick Lamar. And I feel like I really don't need to explain why. It's
Right.
pretty self-explanatory.
He's dope.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, I kind of broached on my number 2 when 444.
Yes. Talk
Again.
about it. Just talk about it. I just need to talk about this.
As a
this
lyricist,
work. Yes.
and a Jay-Z fan to the point where Jay-Z is my greatest inspiration as an artist.
Oh, shit.
He is the reason why I'm in control of my own art.
Why
why
you're an
I have a
entrepreneur.
yeah, I'm a businessman. I'm so inspired by him, and I pay very close attention to his lyrics. And several albums back, he rapped about how he could be a conscious rapper, but it wouldn't have made him any money. He could rhyme like common sense, but it doesn't make any common sense because he ain't gonna get those commas since people don't want to, hear that conscious music. So, word to his to Reasonable Doubt and the level of lyricism and introspectiveness that he had in that project, just a slice of life, to where subsequently it was very kind of braggadocious and just, this other type of lifestyle and metaphors and lyrics. But, American Gangster kind of touched it. So did Kingdom Come. A lot of people didn't really care for that
I
album.
love that album.
I did too. But 444 was like Reasonable Doubt. Like he was like, maybe it took him coming this far and being so set that he stopped caring about whether the project would make money and whether the tracks would get on the radio. And, the videos that he had that came
So
up with it
incredible.
were just films. Like they're so
I know.
like they weren't even about the song. It was like the song was almost a background
And you're
to
like
this.
mesmerized, like watching them.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, each one is its own short film, and it was just so thoughtful, each and every song and the visual accompaniment with it. Shout outs to Jay-Z for bringing that level of lyricism and thoughtfulness up to hip hop. And I'm excited for the culture, and it's been a long time since I felt like that about hip hop. It's like since Bling Bling, it's been all downhill, and finally this year, or rather last year, 2017, I feel like it started to climb back up again. And like, oh, well, all rap doesn't have to be about gangster shit, trapping or twerking, basically. There's more to life than that.
Shout out to Lil Wayne, though. That was one of the first tracks that I ever heard Lil Wayne on.
Bling, bling. Every time I come on,
you said it,
bang,
bling,
bling.
bling.
Hey, I fuck with Lil Wayne from back then. I don't curse, but in this verse, man, fuck the world. Before he was even cursing, ain't nothing wrong with it. There's just more to life than that, Shout outs to that.
Shout out to that, and we're back to Ms. Molly
I
Rulin.
just had a really good one and I forgot it.
Damn.
Pass me the joint.
It's on you.
It'll come back.
Oh, this is fun.
Well, you know what?
What's another top thing?
I gotta give a shout out majorly to I have to give a shout out to Cardi B this year. I really do.
Stay low. You can't.
I mean, that song is just everything.
It's church.
It is church.
It's church.
It's for anyone that feels like people are coming at them, which happens to all of us, and the bravado it takes to just stand down and stand up confidently to anyone or anything and be completely unapologetic about how you say it, or and I just love her attitude. And I think she slays on other tracks this year with like Gucci and Migos and whoever else. She's just killing it right now. So, and also her story is she's a business person too. And shout out to all the sexy ladies out there doing all different types of work and transforming your lives.
Money moves.
You know? So I got to give a shout out to Cardi B.
Yeah.
I love her. She's so ratchet.
Yes.
And
Had
it's
to back up from
perfect.
the mic. Yes. Nah. Listen.
I love her.
I love that she does not code switch. She ain't trying to code switch. She is who she is. She out with it unapologetically herself.
On the G-Eazy track, it's so awesome. Well, we already talked about this, but on the last show. But you know, she's killing it.
She's being herself, man. And shout outs to that.
I know.
I just can't shout
Back
that
to
out.
Molly. Did it come back to you?
No, but I have another one anyway.
Okay.
But it'll come to me. It's been a long week. I know it's Tuesday. But, Lisa Renee.
Hey.
I wanted to say Risa Renee
I
and her
mean-
work with Jazzy Jeff and stuff.
Dude, and
Hey.
just Risa's whole shit is just super dope, and her music is
Yes.
dope, and it's cool when you I met Risa Renee when I was
Risa
booking the
Renee.
local stage at Broccoli City, and I had Pinky on the stage, and at the end of the day, like all of a sudden there's a cipher. And DJ Cool Flash, the young girl on the turntables, she was able to jump up because we were having like technical issues, and they were like, "Can she spin?" And I was like, "Well, normally, no, but like it's already booked, you know what I mean?" And like festivals mid swing, but we were having issues, and I was like, "Hell yeah, she can spin." We put her tables up, she was rocking, it was super dope, you know what I mean? Everybody was super happy, and then all of a sudden this girl gets on the mic and starts rocking it, and it's Risa. I'm like, who is this beautiful ass, like dope ass woman that just jumped on the mic? Like, who is that? And then I got to know her and like figured out like from pictures. I'm like, who is this person? I need to know her. They're like, that's Risa. And then we became friends because she's awesome and she's
Risa's
hella
awesome.
She's a really amazing.
She saved my
human,
life.
you
I
know.
had a whole flashback of this.
Yeah, I mean, she's an actual
Pouring
caring.
into
She's
me.
like a soul
Human-
fairy.
She really. That's a great. She's
You
a soul
know,
fairy.
like magical, like she sparkles like glittery, like happiness wherever she's at.
So dope, and she's so grateful and so humble and so real and so chill. Like I just really fuck with Risa, and then I really like her music. You know,
Yeah,
like I can actually
beautiful.
listen to her music. Ask Around Town, that shit's been in my head for like 4 months. You can ask around town. She's so dope.
Yeah, man.
She's so dope. So
Shout
yeah.
out to Risa
She's
Renee.
water for the soul.
She really is, man, and I'm not just saying that because she's here in DC or because I know her, because I like her music. She's fucking dope. She just is.
Yeah.
So
She
yeah,
is.
Risa motherfucking Renee.
Hey, hey,
Yes.
Mills.
Next.
You're next.
Oh, Frida's scowling at me because I wasn't ready.
She is
She's like
kinda,
always
she's
ready.
Like,
Stay ready. You. And I had one too. I was
See how it
tanking the
goes?
bangers.
Ooh.
I just discovered their music this year. Shout outs to NPR and their tiny
Yeah.
radio sessions. I don't know if they've been doing this for a long time,
Yeah.
but I think
I
I
love
just got
those.
hit recently as of
Tiny
last
Desk
year.
on
I've been doing it
Tiny
for a
Desk,
while.
right.
They've been doing so. I have a theory on it. I'm sure you could Google it and figure it out. But I'm pretty sure the guy was just like come in and then people like he would talk to them and do articles about bands and then some started performing and then he was like, "We'll keep it down. We got to do it at my desk." And it just evolved because they all do acoustic versions. Like if you notice, the Tiny Desk concerts are like slightly different.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's not the full, and they're all playing music, the instruments very lightly. You know,
It
they all
did.
have, like,
It did start
special-
like that, but then Junkyard. I mean,
They
it
had
was the
rare.
Essence.
They had rare. I mean, they've definitely had a couple. You know, they had Roots on there with fucking trumpets and
Yeah.
shit. But most of them, because I've spent low key the last 3 months watching the shit out of it every day. But yeah, because I want to see how they're doing it. I mean, you know, we're doing the same thing downstairs with our factory floor sessions, but different. And
You're
so
doing it.
I want to, yeah,
Doing
And
it
so,
downstairs on the floor.
I'm doing it downstairs
We do it
on the
here. We
floor
do it on the floor.
with Colonel Mustard.
Whoa.
Oh, what, that took it too far? That's what
You
that's
took it
what
to snuff.
what?
I mean, it was really good. And then all
It was
of a
just so
sudden,
random.
with a candlestick.
I
Wait a
know,
minute.
I know.
Hey,
Like,
What are we talking about here?
you
You
just
pervert.
you got way too kinky with
With
Mustard.
Colonel
You
Mustard.
guys never played.
know?
You never played Clue.
Yes,
Yes.
he's always the killer.
That's what.
Oh,
Colonel Mustard always did it in the
he was
library
mad about his stupid
with the
last
letter
name.
opener.
Anyway, you said Colonel Mustard, then I started thinking of like different weapons and stuff like that, and that's why
But I love how Jake can talk about like masturbating and having sex on the floor, but I say Colonel Mustard, and you're both like, that's too much. What the hell? Colonel Mustard, Molly.
You're sick.
Slow it
You are
down.
sick.
What the fuck? I've never
God.
been more confused in my life.
Jesus. Think of the FCC.
oh my god,
This is a podcast.
Oh my god.
No, seriously, you both like recoiled.
We both.
In my mind, I was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, we do it on the floor.
Oh man.
Nothing wrong with that.
Well, okay. Recenter.
Reel it back in.
You know how we
Factory
tanking the
floor
bangers,
sessions, yes.
right?
Tanking
Factory
the
floor,
bangers.
NPR, Tiny Desk, tanking the bangers. A
Yeah.
dope artist.
Yeah.
A group Tank. I mean, it's the rapper, singer, band, dopeness,
Expression.
poetry, R&B, rap,
Yeah.
funk.
Therapy.
I don't know what to call their
Yeah.
music, but I love it.
It's
Like,
super
man, I'm
Yeah,
all
check 'em
about
out.
artists that are like, fuck the box, yo. Whatever definition you
Yeah.
got for music or genre, fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Fuck
Yeah.
it.
I
Fuck
was
it.
just having this conversation.
Like, we're just
The
making
other day.
music. Fuck the hook. Fuck 16 bars for the verse. Fuck what? It has to start in 30 seconds? Nah. Bring back the extended interlude, the just the whole taking the time before the music even drops. Like, word to like Isaac Hayes.
I just remembered. Thank you for the
Great.
Yes.
And we're back to Molly.
Which we are.
word. Okay. Another local artist, Nucci.
Nucci.
Oh.
Blame it
Young.
on the Henny.
Young. Have you heard something?
Anything will happen.
I see you're a Nucci fan as well.
I am, yo. Shout outs to the city, yo. Shout outs to Nucci.
Dude, have you heard the new project?
I have heard it.
Have you heard something?
I've heard it.
Something. Oh my god,
I
it's gonna
suck at
it's gonna
quoting
be
things.
a banger. I wish we could play it somehow. Man, we can't do that, can we, Nick? Can we play it somehow? Is that a thing?
Like, I know anything well because I was there when he performed it a couple times, and then the video was really dope.
Oh,
Shout outs to the video.
Oh my god, ladies.
Hmm?
So will they be able to hear it? Will we be able to hear it in our headphones?
I missed that phone.
It's as simple
jack.
as this.
I think so. We're about to like you're like my whole life is a lie. I can see it in your face. You feel like
Really?
like
I'm trying to email and download. That's it?
well, they won't see it. They won't see it.
What do you
but,
mean they won't see it?
They'll
well, they'll hear
bro.
it. Let's see. I got the volume up. I don't hear anything. They might not hear it. But this
Okay.
this track, something,
This is
it
an
is
experiment.
so good. The whole project is super good.
Did you hear that, Jay? That was
The voice. I did.
That
Oh,
was-
is that the one that you guys
was
are always trying to get me
Naughty
to do?
Molly.
It was.
Naughty Molly. First of all,
Naughty Molly. I like the way that sounds.
dude, because you said interlude, and that's what. Listen, this is exactly what you're talking about. And you know why? Because they know this
Say
song.
people make time for the they wanna do. Ain't it funny how I always got time for you?
I do love this song. And yes, I've heard it. I just didn't know the name of it.
This could be on the radio. This
Should
could
be.
totally. This will
Yes.
be on the radio.
Act like it take a lot just to pull up. You and all of that shit that you full of.
And we're back.
We're just testing you guys to make sure you're paying attention.
Exactly.
Are you?
But shout out to Nucci. That song is awesome, and excited to hear more
Yeah.
from
The whole project is super good. So show some love, support it, go buy it.
Dope. Well, back to myself, Nikki MG. My number 4 person on my list is Pinky Killicorn.
You stole mine.
Well, she can be on all of our lists.
She was.
And, after our little session here, we're going to actually show a clip from her factory floor session here this year. But her Pinky Killicorn 2.0 EP was just like so poppin', and it was one of those things I listened on repeat this year also, and I just love her sound. Why do y'all love Pinky Killicorn, since we all have her on our list?
Because she's ridiculous. Like, and I tell her that all the time. She's just unapologetically herself all the time. Like, she never falters. She's always Pinky. You know what I mean? She's always Pinky.
Always has been.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
She used to be
has
Pink
been.
Dog, but she was still Pinky. You know what I mean?
I mean, man, Pinky, yo, the homie. Like, memories I have of Pinky start, man, it's 2018, so it starts over a decade ago.
Damn.
That's crazy to think about, but we've been soldiers in this music war for a very long time. I remember her freestyling. I just remember her exuberance and her love for rap and just flowing, and like the energy that she gives to keep the party going is so contagious. And watching her develop and being a fan of somebody I know is just surreal. A legit fan. Like, I don't give up about that no more.
I
Like-
don't even know what I was tripping for.
Like, real
I don't
life.
have a fuck to give.
Not a 111.
Yo, like, quoting your friends is cool as shit. And the fact that many other people love her too is just so freaking dope. The project was dope, man. Performing, rocking out in Jamaica was a crazy dope adventure. And I'm so excited just to see what else the future has in store for Pinky Killicorn, man. Shout outs to her rocking and
Yes.
opening up for Erykah Badu.
Dude,
Big
I was
deal.
Oh
there.
my gosh.
Did you guys go?
I didn't.
I was there. I was there, and let me tell you, that shit was fucking amazing. And she opened, so the doors opened at like 6 or 7 o'clock, I think. And then Pinky opened at 8 o'clock, and then Erykah came on directly after that. And so they had this huge stage with this huge graphic, and it was this like Pinky Killicorn, like the peace fingers with like
Yeah.
the Killicorn, and then just this really cool like, cotton candy color graphic behind it. Just real some Pinky ass shit, And I mean, literally, like, the background, this was Pinky to the, this was Pinky to the background.
this is, like,
it was
epic.
fucking huge. Sorry about your crown. I didn't mean to bang it up. And, it was a big deal. And the theater, even though it was the opening act, like, people were there to see Erykah. So the whole floor was, like, 75% full. And the balconies were, like, 20 to 30% full. But the place holds 6,000 people. So that means there was like 3,000 people there for her performance.
Yeah.
And she like consciously made the decision to perform some of her early shit where she's literally talking about like selling crack on Georgia Avenue and like beating motherfuckers up. I was like, all right, Pinky, but she was like, this is part of my journey. And so she took him from the beginning to the end. And I mean, that's a tough crowd. You got people dressed up to the nines to go see Erykah at the brand new venue. And here comes Pinky wearing this super dope, she looks like
the kimono
yes,
joint. Oh
shit.
my
She's
god.
like a superhero.
Yeah, man.
Like Mortal Kombat on fucking cotton candy
Fucking
acid.
warrior, yo.
And she had her things
her
done.
Bantu knots
Yes,
and
she was
looking regal as fuck.
And just
yo.
looking so interesting. And you can tell, the audience, was just not sure at first. She came in hard with it. She had a trap house on stage and shit. She came in hard with it. And she, introduced herself. And then when she was like, I'm from D.C., I'm from here. And then people were like, okay, they warmed up. But you could tell they were like, who is this person, And then they like warmed up, and then but by the end of it, she won all of them over. I mean, they clapped. They fucking really like they were engaged. People were standing there staring at the stage. They were not talking, and they were paying attention to her and cheering for her. And she owned it. And then at the end, she tried to take a selfie, and her camera kept fucking up. And, like, everyone was, like, giggling. And she, like, fucked up, like, 4 times in a row. And I was just like, this is so pinky right now. But the whole audience was, like, in it with her. You know what I mean? She was like, fuck it, I was supposed to go out 5 minutes ago, but we're going to do this. And she went through, like, 2 different cameras. She didn't get But it was just like, you could feel the audience had like fallen in love with her the same way we love her by the end of that. And because of that, you know what I mean? It was just super cool. And I ran around that venue, like looking at her from all the different angles. And it was really awesome. Like, dude, how many other DC artists have been in front of 3,000 fucking people on their own soil?
Yeah, that's
Opening for a national act. When has that ever fucking happened before? I mean, and Pinky did it, and she did it as herself, front to back. You know what I'm saying? And I respect the shit out of that. You know
shout
what
out
I
to
mean?
Pinky Killicorn.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah, she did the damn thing, man.
Yes. Pinky. That brings us back to Mills.
And we're back. Shout out to everybody that tuned back in. Shout out to the folks that tuned in from Jamaica. Shout out to you, Daniela. Shout out to all the folks that helped to make, I'm going to say, Facebook and its improvements of 2017 and engagement, being able to like with an emoji, being able to go live, being able to react to the comments within the comments, commenting on the comments within the comments,
just some commentary,
the engagement, the boosts, as a business person, you know, these different changes that they made in metrics, really helped a lot, you know, being able to really kind of reach your market. On one hand, you know, I will say a hearty fuck you for making people have to pay to reach the people that chose to follow them. But those are pretty cool, you know, things being able, once you have engaged in this boosting, you know, anybody that has a small business, whether it's Google or Facebook or Instagram, whatever internet tool it is that you are using to further your business, make sure you are using it. Make sure you're activating these tools, because it's the information age, and it's a beautiful thing to be able to see, you know, where the people are coming from that are interested in what you have, what their age is, what time they are interested in looking at the information that you have, and a lot of very important demographic information, you know. Shout outs to my numbers growing, my businesses and my events being dope, and social media, Facebook surpassing YouTube in video views, which is hella major. Hella major. You know, I know you're taking your social media fast. I enjoy taking the fast when it was forced upon me when my phone broke. But out of the country for a couple weeks.
So let me get this clear. For your number 4, you are listing Facebook emoji artists and business metric
fucking emojis
creators.
And business metrics. I'm listing
Artists
myself.
got it.
Basically.
I just wanted to clarify.
Artist is dope. And to be honest, I'm kind of smacked, and I slightly forgot the subject. So forgot we were listing. I thought we were just listing like things. Things we like.
Shout out to chocolate.
What did chocolate do for you in 2017?
Dude,
wow.
A lot.
That's amazing.
A lot.
Your tea, that tea that I had at your house, that little tea box.
Yeah.
You inspired me to step my tea game up. 2018 ain't ready. You know, I have new goals. We're
going to talk about that.
Okay, we're skipping ahead. We still want to know your number 4, J Mill.
Okay.
Artists. I mean, if you want to go with emoji artists, that is part of the culture.
No. Oh my gosh. Shout outs to Homegrown, but Was Devin the Dude's latest album this year?
I mean, I don't feel like the project has to be this year or last year, did it? Is that like really a requirement?
Oh, that was this year. That was my this year recap. Yeah, Devin did just drop his latest CD this year. Earlier, I mean, in 2017, and that CD was dope as fuck and really slapped on. Devin did it again. He made one, you know, I'm a sucker for good music and a long intro and one of those when you just talk for a while over the beat, you know, like I love that. Devin made a really great joint to get high to. So if you smoke, shout out to cannabis. We'll bring it back, you know, to being high again. And
keeping
the
it
fact
consistent.
that people that get high like music. And some of the greatest soundtracks that is probably on anyone's, you know, smoker's playlist gotta have some Devin on it. And his latest one, I mean, Devin is this artist that he inspires me heavily because of how underground he is. Like, before everybody got hip to UGK or 3-6 Mafia, where they're the most known unknown, I think of the days in hip hop where there were those artists or groups that were so underground. If you knew about them, it was like a badge of honor. You know, their music was never going to be on the radio. It's not like you saw you had to know about them because you just know about them. And there's a huge amount of people who know, but still it's not mainstream. Yeah. And the fact that Devin has consistently done that all this time, I mean, I used to kind of be like, dang, you know, why not? Why isn't this on the radio? But who cares? Like, he's still selling out concerts. His latest project really, really, really was dope. So for all the Devin fans, if you did not hear the project that he put out last year, because once again, it's underground, so it's not like you heard it on the radio, or you may have known because it was in iTunes, or I mean, I don't know, it probably is, but at any rate, Devin the Dude, his project from this past year, I know it starts with the word higher. I should have Googled it before I started talking.
But it's ironic that it's higher.
I know. Bringing it back once more.
One more time.
Shout out to being in DC, where I can confess this truth.
You know.
It is what it is.
I'm with that.
What it is. Perfect.
What is the name of that? What is that?
You have to...
Girl Scout cookies.
And we're back to Molly with the Girl Scout cookies.
Damn it, I just forgot.
Your number 5 slot.
This is
Wait,
it.
number 5. I already did 5.
One.
Yeah, so you've got Tasha Altana, Wednesday Love,
That's
Risa
right.
Renee, Nochi, and everyone was for Pinky.
Man, this is going to be... I've been debating in my head. I have like a few, but...
I do too. Just got to pick one.
But you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
Say it.
Vaughn Benjamin, Midnight. Classic reggae band. They've been playing a long time. They split up in the last couple years, but I've listened to a lot of hours of Midnight every single day, week, year. It's,
I know who my next one is.
I meditate and ride my bike and listen to Midnight. And it has brought me a lot of peace and solace. And I really, I need that in my life, man. So shout out to Roots Reggae. Shout out to Vaughn Benjamin. Shout out to Ron Benjamin, his brother, even though they're no longer performing. And shout out to Desiree, Ron Benjamin's wife, who's the queen of reggae, the first mother of reggae. Like when she is in the room, all the Rastas like bow down in respect to her. Shout out to her for taking a lot of time off of her career to raise the children that she had with Ron Benjamin, and she performed at Reggae the River last year, back on stage. Nice. And so it's nice to see the Queen rise again. But that whole group of people, even though they're not performing together right now, are very peaceful, passionate prophets. You know. So
I love that alliteration. Yeah.
Why, thank you. I was gonna say something else, but I didn't.
And we're back to me. So I also had to think about, I had a couple of, options, but ultimately I'm going to go to, and this is clearly biased because he's my husband, but I want to give a shout out to my number 5 slot to 06, local DC artist, and he's super underground, but I tell you, this man, I'm putting him on my list because he represents something bigger to me. He represents the DIY lifestyle, that if you have a dream, if you're passionate about something, just do it and work through it. And he has put out at least like 2 full-length albums, a whole host of collaborative albums online in the last year, created his own radio show, created a show with Santos for the culture, the lab here at One Love Massive. And, he's just really talented in so many ways. And I just see him every day on his grind, like really pursuing his dreams. And it's just really impactful on my life personally because it is his energy and his persistence and just creating and, just getting out there and just doing it has inspired me to follow my interest and passions as well. And so shout out to 06. You can follow him.
That's right. 06 Radio.
06 Radio, and that's OSICS, like spelled out phonetically, 06, like the year 06. And he's on Instagram, and also shout out to the lab and Santos, and creating a space for DC hip hop and spoken word artists to come together and freestyle and show off their skills, and another great, awesome thing going on here at One Love Massive.
Oh, thanks.
So yeah,
One love.
shout out to 06 and
Shout
all
out
the
to 06.
DIY people out there just doing it. Get on your grind and just do it.
Do it.
Do it. So I want to co-sign 06. Dude, he's super talented and very driven and been a great part of the team, a great asset to the operation here. And when I first saw his show, I was just like blown the fuck away because his whole other personality like emerges from him. And it's fucking amazing, and he's hilarious. The show is so good. I mean, I just it was just really awesome. I was like, whoa, I didn't even know he had that in him. Like that's awesome. So
he's not Terminator all the time.
I know, right? I'm like, good lord, man. But no, I mean, it's I definitely agree, man. He's a solid dude for a lot of reasons, and definitely very talented. He's leveled us all up quite a bit. Elevation, as he would say.
As he would say.
I spent a lot of time with your husband too. He's like the only one in staff meetings that can be like, you missed a point. I'm like, all right.
So we're back to last but certainly not least, never Mills. Who's gonna take your number 5 spot?
My number 5 spot goes to Esperanza Spalding.
Hey.
It's going to her for her Project 77, where she went live for 77 hours straight.
What?
On Facebook.
Woo!
I gave
Molly, I'm sweating. Woo!
Wait. 3 days?
77 hours.
What did she do?
I mean, when they slept in shifts, and like when she was asleep, like that's when they would do the mixing and stuff. Like she created it live. Like, so you saw her when she went into the room to just kind of pick apart the melody, and from the nothing to the something to the getting other people to play along with her. It was unbelievable and amazing, and it was so dope to see, like, for her to do that for her fans and just kind of bring that rawness to the forefront. For me, like I have all these different metaphors about making music and it being very personal, very the closest metaphor I can use is very sexual, in terms of the concept in your brain to actually being in the studio and bringing that into fruition. Sometimes it's ugly and awkward, like a sloppy kiss and you don't know what you're doing, and showing that to the world, showing the missed notes, that it doesn't just come to you, you know, it may take a while, you know. So for me as an artist, like seeing that, like listening to the end product and thinking that it's so effortless, but seeing how she just, until she finally got it right, like come back a couple hours later and you see her playing this whole song that she just struggled to find the melody just to, you know, create. So I don't even know if she left it available to be seen. I feel like it was one of those, you had to just catch it while she was doing it, and the project will come out later. I don't know if the final project is out yet, but I do know that she went for 77 hours on Facebook Live and created magical music. So
Facebook Live or YouTube Live? It had been Facebook.
It was
or
Facebook.
YouTube. Facebook only cuts you off at 4 hours.
she did a special project
Jesus Christ.
with Facebook.
Maybe they gave her special
Yeah.
permission because she's Esperanza. Spalding.
Whatever.
It was
I'm just kidding.
the law, but that's
Go
something
ahead.
maybe to look into though, because there's clearly loopholes to that matrix.
Yeah, you just gotta have like 1 million fans.
We're getting there.
So
Well-
subscribe to our YouTube channel. Help us get there.
Well, those are really dope lists, I think, that we created here. So just to review, Molly, we have Tosh Sultana,
Boom.
Wednesday Love,
Boom.
Risa Renee, Nochi, and Vaughn Benjamin.
Boom.
With myself, we've got Logic, Kendrick Lamar, Cardi B, Pinky Killacorn, and 06. And with the real Jay Mills, we've got Childish Gambino, Jay-Z, Tank and the Bangers, the Facebook emoji artist / Devin the Dude. And then...
No.
No.
I just came out of nowhere with random things I liked in 2017. Please forgive me. I just made up my own question and answered it. I'm so sorry.
You
I mean,
really
it was very
did.
thorough. It's very thorough.
Real well thought out. So I was like, she's talking about the emoji artist. You know, that is for the culture.
No.
I did
Gangnam
say
Style.
artist.
I'm
This is
just glad
a
you're
broad
like-
interpretation.
I mean, somebody has to draw those things.
You let
know.
me do it. You let me go on so long and you waited until you... Okay,
I
so
value what you have to say.
let's
I thought it was
restate
hilarious.
this.
I was just like,
Your
it's like watching a
favorite
train wreck.
artist.
Is emojis. I was like, maybe she's gonna
I was like, maybe she's gonna
Loop this
bring it
in,
back.
you know?
Some, I was like, no.
like. In
never coming
fact,
back.
I found my favorite artist on social media.
That's why I had to clarify because I was like,
So,
what?
like, what my favorite Facebook artist is Emote? That's what we're
You
talking
are crying.
And
right
the business metric creators as well. I
It
was
was
like,
the
I
thing
guess
I
there's an
liked.
art to
now.
that.
Facebook ads. Like, you know.
It's like, fuck you guys for real.
Shout out to
But thank
Boost.
you.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, and then lastly, Esperanza Spalding.
Yes.
I do
Yes.
want to say that if I had like a 6 and a 7 or like a 5B and a C, it would have been like EU and then you. But I don't know. I don't have enough of your work to like. You know what I'm saying? To
It's new. It's not
I know.
even recorded to my
I know.
brain. That's how new it
I
is.
know,
That is
but I'm
so hot.
already a fan.
Was that inappropriate?
That was a wisdom nugget. Quick, drop the graphic.
I don't know if that was a wisdom.
I just want to use the
nugget.
graphic. Nick, did you drop the wisdom nugget? Yeah. Is it like an overlay? Does it take this whole screen, or is it an overlay? It's like ding, wisdom nugget. Ooh, which was made by 06.
It was made by 06.
Bring it back.
Actually, all the graphics are made by 06. Such a genius.
He
I
is.
love him. But you know what? I think now is a good time for us to take a little break. One, so we can eat some more of these crispy plantain chips without
Yeah.
crunching into them. Like, but two, so you can see a Pinky Killacorn video as one of our hottest clearly on all of our lists. The hottest of the hot of 2017 of DC for the culture. Hashtag DC culture. Check us out. One Love Massive.
Boom, boom, boom.
We're going to show a clip of Pinky Killicorn here live at the One Love Massive Creative Factory, doing one of all of our favorite tracks. Check it out. We'll be right back.
Nice.
Hold up.
Hold up.
Child, cause you fuck me, oh wow. Like the pain, take the pain, hit them oohs and them outs and them wow. And damn near preaching, for Jesus was in the house. That's how you call his name, oh God, oh Lord, why you use his name in vain? Why you came, cause I came over here, yeah, I drove in the rain. Do it look like I came here to play? Okay. Ooh, I got that Avery. There's just one thing that got you tripping. Touch the spot, yeah, you're shaking and dripping. Fuck, you thought that's gonna be your mission. But I love on your mind. And the moon and these crystals. But they must not be charged. Cause I still can't get you. Roll a J and I'm smacked and I smudge. I'm more than buzz. Is it what it was? Was it ever love? I have to get up, can't let nothing take me away from up. Ain't no Mary J. Ain't going down. I'ma be okay. Me, myself, I have found that I went astray. Had to talk to me. Don't react, I'll be back. Yeah, I got it. Cause I, myself, and me gotta deal with my shit. I'm the captain, the leader. I'm the motherfucking pilot. Cranes in the sky, paper planes in the eye. Life is a bitch, I complain. It gets the brain and say bye. Make the life fall in love with me. I still like to replace the P. ITCH is hate on me. I can't see what I just can't see. I can't be what I ain't gonna be. I can do you, but I do me. If I do you, you gon' pay me. P-I-M-P to I-N-G. Cause I'm a gangster too. Hold up. Killer, come on. Cranes in the sky. People planes in the eye. Life is a bitch, I complain. Bye. High again, I'm high again. And I got fly again. So to never lie again. Hold up. Killer, come. Yeah, that was one.
Welcome back. Happy New Year, everyone. Thanks for staying with us. The MNM Show. Wasn't that a lovely little musical nugget from Pinky Killicorn?
Music. We need a new graphic. Great.
Musical nugget. I'm just about the nuggets, you know. But that was a nice little hot list for 2017. I want to get political with it because... you know, I just got to inform people about what's going on in DC.
Who's in it?
So the most important thing today is that elections are coming up in DC this year. And so election cycle in DC is one of the most crazy and interesting things I've ever witnessed in my life. I highly encourage everyone, one, to register to vote if you haven't already, if you're a new resident in DC, or if you've lived in DC for a long time and never bothered, and you're still registered in your original home state, change over, vote here in DC. You're a longtime resident, vote here in DC. And if you're a long-term voter and you feel disenfranchised or don't care, you know, because everything is corrupt in DC, you're right, but get out and vote anyway. It's important.
Just in case.
Last local elections where we voted for our mayor was like a historic low voter turnout in the district. And just in my personal opinion, our current government reflects that. You know, we need more people to hold them accountable and, you know, make them work for your tax dollars. So elections are coming up. The primary is June 19th. And so get out and vote for that. And then the general election is November 6th this year. So if you want to register to vote, you can do that a number of ways. I think we have a little slide here for you. You can do it online at the DC Board of Elections or through the DMV. You can actually go to either of those locations physically and do it in person, or you can like print a form online and fill it out and then mail it in. There's a zillion easy ways to do it, but get registered to vote. So just so everyone knows what is coming up in DC, like what wards, what seats are up and all of that. This is a big one. We have wards 1, 3, 5 and 6 who are all up for election. So that is Councilmember Brianne Nadeau, representing like the Columbia Heights area and U Street area. Shaw. Yeah, so
Here.
this is Ward 1. Boom. We have Ward 3. That's Mary Che. That's like uptown, like Cleveland Park and AU area.
Yep.
The rich part of town. Then we have Ward 5, which, who is that right now? It's, I should know this.
Grosso?
No, McDuffie. Kenyon
McDuffie, right. Grosso is 4, right?
I think Grosso lives in Ward 5, but he's an at-large seat, and he's not up for election right now. But Kenyon McDuffie, representing Ward 5, is up for election. So that's like Brookland area and probably like Michigan Park and you know, that region of Northeast over there. And then Ward 6, which is Charles Allen. And I think that's part of like Capitol Hill and over in that area. But don't quote me on it, but Charles Allen is up for election. And then we also have an at-large seat that is up for election, and that is Anita Bond's seat. And she's an at-large person, and she's been on the council quite a long time. Then also our mayor is up for re-election, as well as the chairman of the council. So these are like really powerful positions here in Washington, D.C. These are the people that affect policy decisions. They affect the decisions made on how your tax dollars are spent here in the district. They work with and approve different contractors for how land is developed and what businesses come to the city. So if you care about any of that, about the quality of public education, about the quality of workers' rights and wages in the city, about art in the city, just about anything, like they affect every decision that happens at the policy level and then comes down and affects us in a multitude of ways. So I encourage everyone to get out and vote. There's also a couple of other smaller seats up, but still is important to vote for them. The DC Democratic State Party is up for re-election. And basically, if you didn't know, I didn't know about this before, the DC Democratic State Party is responsible for basically voting for who the District of Columbia thinks should be the presidential nominee, but also just generally represents the Democratic Party from DC at conventions and whatnot. And they're kind of defunct here in DC. They don't really do anything. So a couple of years ago, I ran on a slate with some people. The rent is too darn high to, you know, try to get some younger people on there and progressive-minded people to make that body more helpful and proactive with dealing with issues that affect Democrats and working-class people here in the district. So that is up for election again. Also, the delegate to the House, that's Eleanor Holmes Norton, who's been holding that seat down for like a really long time.
How long?
At least like 30 years, I think.
My whole life.
Yeah.
What do we think about her? Do we like her?
Historically, we love her. You know, she was instrumental in helping with DC advocate for home rule and statehood over the years.
Cannabis.
And cannabis. You know, she's progressive on all the right issues, but I think there's a growing number of people in the district that feel like she's had the seat too long and they want fresh energy there. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it personally. You know, just because even though we have a delegate to the House, she still doesn't have the right to vote for policies that are being brought to the House. She can weigh in on them and has influence in relationships, but still doesn't have that vote, you know. So there's only so much power that comes along with the seat. But I think some people also feel like she could probably do more for statehood in order to get that. So every year she has some challengers, but they never win. So we'll see. I think it'll take her like retiring, honestly, for someone else
It's like Jim Vance and Donnie Simpson. Like, you know, like they're just staples. Like they're just names you've heard your whole life.
Yeah. So, but she is up for re-election. Then there's also the Attorney General, and then the shadow representative and the shadow senator, which...
What does that even mean?
I really don't fucking know what those positions do. It's a mystery, but I know that they don't have a vote or anything. I think that they're there and they're able to build relationships, and I think a lot of people in DC attribute those roles to be responsible for advocating for statehood for the district. But
sound like the Umbrella Corporation.
It does sound kind of sketchy, doesn't it?
Shadow people.
Anyway, some people generally run for those positions here, but it's a big election, so register to vote. Again, the primary is June 19th, and you're going to start seeing more and more signs in the district for different candidates who are running.
So, can we talk about that for a second?
Sure.
Okay, so last mayoral election season.
Yeah. Where Muriel Bowser's face was everywhere. That election.
Faith Mayor?
Oh.
Like, was that real life?
That is real life.
Because I kept seeing those posters and being like...
Faith?
And you know...
What?
She has run multiple times.
Oh, yes. And I actually, Jay Cooper, rest in peace. I went to see him one day. Yeah, man. That's
still so crazy.
I know.
2 years last November. A couple months ago. So, yeah, rest in peace. Rest in power. But,
yeah.
I went to go talk to him and I was asking him about that. And he was like, no, she's a real person. And not only is she a real person, but she actually does have some sort of a job with inside the government and does affect some contracts and things.
Yeah.
And she's clearly not a stable. So for everybody listening at home who has no idea what I'm talking about, like the whole city was just covered in all kinds of posters for different mayors running, different color posters on every. And I kept seeing this poster of like a woman on a camel with like the Capitol photoshopped into the, or I guess the camel was photoshopped onto a picture of like the U.S. Capitol, and she's playing a trumpet, riding a camel.
I think like in the previous election, she was like a fairy. I remember seeing her like with wings and like a wand.
And that was her mayoral election campaign, and it just said Faith Mayor. I don't know if she has one name or if her name is really Faith Mayor. It's very confusing.
So here's who she is. She is a member of the DC Statehood Green Party. So in DC, it's like a 90% Democratic city or something like that, registered Democrats. But so you can run as a Democrat, you can run as a Republican, you can run as an independent. And then there's the Statehood Green Party as well. So sometimes they have a candidate that they run, and she is part of the Statehood Green Party.
Is it too late to run for mayor?
No. So
are those the options?
No, I don't. I have not heard if Faith is running for mayor this year. She might. So there are people like Faith and like Calvin Gurley and who just run over and over and over again, and they never win, but they always run.
Like Ross Perot, remember him?
Well,
in the 90s,
even more than Ross Perot. Like some of these people just So I also encourage people, if you haven't registered to vote, to register to vote, but to go to the campaign talks. What are they called? The platforms, the candidate forums, where you go and like see the different candidates who are running for your different ward or at-large position, answer questions and talk about the issues.
When are elections?
June 19th is the primary, so they're Juneteenth. Well, isn't that June 6th? I'm such a bad black person. Isn't it June 16th? Or is it June 19th?
Thought it was June 19th, the last 10th of June.
I mean, well, I'm gonna defer to what you think. That would be weird if it is on Juneteenth, though, because DC. I thought DC recognized that.
That would be Emancipation Day.
Yeah, DC recognized that as a holiday. Like
not Juneteenth.
June 19th.
We can't even agree on what day.
It is June 19th. See.
Yeah, my mom's from Texas, but you know.
I
dusted that memory off, and it was so dusty.
Well, that's weird that it's on June. Well, anyway, we will be voting on Juneteenth, so that's the primary election, and then November 6th is the general election.
Okay, so I got till Juneteenth to get like 5,000 signatures, so I can run for something somewhere. You know, I encourage every person who has not yet seen the movie that came out in the 90s starring Eddie Murphy called Distinguished Gentleman. Check that out. It is incredibly accurate on what it takes to enter local politics.
Oh, is this the one where he runs in like Florida and he gets all the old people to love him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In a nutshell.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But he talks about how a candidate basically wins an election easily by aligning themselves with a particular party. In his case, he aligned himself with senior citizens. Many people underestimate the power of aligning yourself with that party, but so a lot of senior citizens out there.
Especially in D.C.
Exactly.
And this is how Anita Bonds and Muriel Bowser and Brandon Todd all secure their votes.
They have seen the movie.
They're tight. They're tight with the senior citizens.
Yeah, you do that, you win that. That's a large demographic. And then after that, you know, you can pick other trade unions.
Because they're the
like
super
that,
voters. Old people be voting. That's
they
what
have nothing else to do.
Hey. No hating on the seniors.
It's not hating. I wish they're retired.
I'm looking forward to when I have nothing to do and I just can't wait to vote.
We have things to do. I gotta go to where I gotta. They don't have.
They have a doctor's appointment that they look forward to for months.
The moment they put something on the calendar, voting, June 19th.
They start doing their hair like a week before.
They do, and they register at the polls. They're shout out to the senior citizens.
They're volunteering.
Super voters.
They're gonna be there with their vests on.
They're like, maybe Mrs. Green from down the street will be there.
Exactly.
And they're right. She will be there.
She will be.
Yes.
Looking sassy.
She got her voting hat.
But they do. Like
with
visors.
The pamphlets.
You know?
And a button.
She's ready and informed.
With her bag.
Yes.
And her grandchild. Yes. So get out and vote.
Yeah,
there's a lot. I'm not going to go through all who's running, but I just, this is going to come up again.
We should do a little guide, like an MNM Show guide to local politics.
We should endorse some politicians, man.
Yeah, I'm with that. We accept bribes.
I'm going to ask them flat out, how do you feel about cannabis? And if you're not for the green, I'm not voting for you.
No.
Let us push this to the ballot. Let cannabis be just as much of a line item as gun ownership, abortion, and who should use what bathroom. Like, push it to the front. I want to know how you feel about it. And if you don't say the right answer, boo.
You know, we should get some
Yeah.
of the
Boo. Public
marijuana policy
shame.
advocate people here on the show to
Shame.
update us about what's going on
Yes,
with
if you are not for
the
weed,
status of cannabis.
you don't get a
in the
vote
district.
from me.
Oh, I have some guests to come on the show for
Great.
us. Yeah.
Let's talk about it
Yeah.
later.
No, right now.
Let's do
Well,
it. Do it now.
I want to transition into.
Oh, we're getting a lot of thumbs from that. Some people like that
Hey.
that voting for the weed.
Boom!
Yeah.
It's important to
Yeah,
us.
we need to make a list of all the different everything that's up for office and what their platforms
And just
are.
be like, we could even do like, you know, who gives thumbs up, who gives
Yeah.
thumbs down. I'll just thumb down everyone to keep it honest.
Yeah, I'm like, it can be like a real talk kind of.
We just need a little
Pamphlet.
sheet.
I'm gonna
Yeah, we need
ask.
a little cheat sheet.
They're gonna have to say it publicly. Are you for cannabis? And if you say no, shame. Like Game of Thrones.
throwbacks of
Shame. Boo. Yes, throw weed at us every time you speak. Boo. You hate a plant. You're an animal. You're a monster.
You're a monster.
You're pro-cancer. You weed-hating
I
imbecile.
mean, I definitely encourage people to go to the
Pro-cancer.
candidate
Yes,
forums
that's what I was saying. This
because
candidate is pro-cancer.
Pro-death candidate right here.
you know people make those kind of comments
They do.
and stuff at the candidate forums. It's great entertainment. Like democracy is so entertaining. I highly recommend people go to the candidate forums and get to know these characters,
Kinda
these
wanna go.
players.
If you're against weed, you're pro-cancer. Do you like cancer?
Do you like watching children die?
If you're against weed, you like children.
You're a baby killer. You're a child killer.
You're a horrible, horrible person. This message has been sponsored by One Love Massive.
One weed massive.
Oh, yes. I see it in the future.
Wisdom
This is
nuggets.
coming.
Man, we're running late, man.
Well, I want to
Time check.
transition this conversation into lessons learned
Oh man, never
From
dating
20
again.
from 2017. All right,
Just
let's
kidding.
start
I'm dating
there.
already.
Lessons learned for 2017. You know, it was a long year. It was a crazy year in terms of, you know, the whole presidential situation and like some crazy shit he tweeted or said to some other leader of a nation or
just like
policy
yesterday.
he tried to initiate or take away or tax reform. It was just like every day some crazy shit with all the firings and everything. So that, you know, was like an emotional roller coaster for folks. And then we also had, you know, a big women's movement, many moments this year with the Women's March, the Black Women's March, the Me Too campaign resurgence, all of the lawsuits that are following, you know, the sense of accountability, and you know, and so much more. And so there was that. But then on the personal level, right? You know, on the personal level, Molly, you as a entrepreneur, creator of One Love Massive. There's been a lot of transformation here and growth at the space for you, Jay Mills, as an artist, as a cannabis entrepreneur, as the J Suite has really taken off for myself as an entrepreneur and an activist. And a newly married person, I'm sure that we have learned so much, and I feel like this is the time when the wisdom nuggets may come out, because I'm really interested to know what you boss women, some of your most major reflections and lessons learned for 2017. Yes.
My biggest reflection is to not take anything personal when it comes to business. You know, as a woman, we can be very passionate. We can be very emotional. We can take things very personal. People can personally disrespect us simply because we are women. Like, that can happen. And to move forward in business, understanding that business can be done with people who don't respect you. Business can be done with people who don't like you. Because business is not personal. Business is business. And when you're able to overcome that negativity with equanimity, or being able just to see the greater purpose in how you can still work together, or how you can still use these things or use these opportunities to benefit your brand, it takes a lot of reservation, but the benefits are real. And for me, as an entrepreneur, you know, oftentimes we go into this entrepreneur world because we don't like the corporate world. But in truth, the corporate world is like that. You're going to work with somebody you can't stand.
Yeah.
And that person may just get reassigned to another department. They're not going to get fired. Like, it's not fair in the workplace. You may hate your boss. They may be an asshole, but you still have to go to work. You still have to do this job. You don't have to like the people you work with. Nobody is expecting that. But when you become an entrepreneur, suddenly you expect to be friends with everybody you work with, and like that it's supposed to be this new fantasy world where everything's fun. And no, it's not. Like, it's just flat out not. If you wish to achieve a certain level of success, if it's anywhere, any semblance of being like corporate, then you're gonna have to work with some people you don't like. And business is not personal. If you can learn not to take it personal and how to just remain professional and keep it moving and keep growing your business, then you can make it to the next level.
Word.
Yes. This is why you are a successful entrepreneur. I don't know if I have learned this lesson fully and accepted it in 2017 as you have, but I hear you and hear the wisdom deep within it. I do. What about you, Molly? What's one of the lessons you've learned in 2017?
I really came to terms with like how broken I am this year. In good ways, you know.
Okay.
In good ways. You know, I learned a lot about myself, a lot about stress management. I learned a lot of really painful lessons this year. I think, you know, ending the year and heading into a new one, it's all about acceptance for me. It's like accountability and acceptance, and then just like really understanding like what the fuck is going on, and like owning my decisions, and intently and actively making decisions to risk it all, you know, to make this work, to give up any future security blanket that I might have has gone into the walls here. So I've taken a huge risk and learning how to like acknowledge that and be at peace with that and use that as motivation and never let it to be daunting. It's like liberating and exciting and terrifying all at the same time. Having to have relationships with like 18 different people that now associate themselves with Win Love, and learning how to navigate through those conversations and just be, you know, have really close relationships with people when I don't feel like that's one of my skills. Like I'm confident in a lot of my abilities. I'll sit at any table. I'm not really afraid of anything except for like close relationships with people. So, you know, I've had to really face that and like do a lot of that this year. And I think that I've learned a lot about myself. I'm still learning a lot of self-reflection. You know, just really being honest with who I am. I think it took to get to like 42 years old to have like honest ass conversations with myself. And recognizing, I think the greatest lesson and gift that I've learned is that I want a life that looks a little different, and I know what I'm missing, and I know what I want, and I'm making efforts to get that. and I'm acknowledging that I deserve that. And I think that is like a beautiful place to be, even if I'm like 20 years late on it, you know.
Not late.
Well, you know.
You're arriving.
Amen.
You know. Exactly. So it's been a painful year. It's been an emotional year. It, you know, it was the best year of my life, worst year of my life, you know, all at the same time. Actually, 2016 was the best year of my life and the worst year of my life. 2017 was just more about like digging in and making shit work, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very grateful for all the, you know, I mean, like this opportunity and all the
Amen.
growth I've experienced with the two of you in this room, you know. So
Yeah, man.
remember when the doors were spray painted with aerosol can, you know, like
yeah.
everything's a lot different. So, you know, it's good, man. I think
Happy
it's
New
good. Yeah, Happy New Year, man. Challenge yourself. Put yourself out of your comfort zone. Challenge yourself. That's you know, that's the lesson I learned. And don't be afraid to go for what you want, because you might be really good at it and you might just get it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, I think the biggest thing that I'm most excited to share about that I learned in 2017 is very literal. It's about the power of essential oils. If you didn't know, I'm just so excited about it. I was given a set of essential oils and a little like vaporizer thing for a holiday gift, and essential oils have healing powers, and I feel like people need to know about these natural remedies.
Amen.
And in particular, the peppermint essential oil and the lavender essential oil. So I'm someone that, and I say this truthfully, suffers from migraines. I get major, like pounding migraines, like need to lay in the dark and just close my eyes and, you know, kind of nothing. And this essential oil, peppermint, just like smelling it and putting it in the vaporizer in my room will take away my migraine.
That's awesome.
It's really awesome, you know, and the lavender helps too. Or I might take a little peppermint oil and like actually rub it on my temples where like you feel the pulsating happening, and it really helps. And I don't know if this would help everyone or whatnot. Different things may, you know, affect people slightly differently. But I was doing a little research, and yeah, apparently peppermint is great for headaches and stuff. And so I'm just I think I learned a lot in 2017 about like natural ways to be healthy, and I want to carry that forward in 2018. I significantly changed my diet, or I should say taken steps to change it. I became much more conscious about sugar content and fat content and processing and its effects on people. I've been nerding out, like watching documentaries on how processed food, you know, affects the American population, and you know, the rise in diabetes and heart disease and long-term obesity and children and everything, and just, you know, seeing the degradation of health of certain folks within my family, and you know, their doctors telling them they need to change the way they eat, and some of my friends too, and just how I just became very conscious this year that food is an addiction, you know, and we're all addicted to it in different ways, because there's like sugar in everything, you know, and it just tastes so good. And
I love sugar.
you know, I do too. Everyone does. And it's in your bread and your juice, and it's just in everything. And so I've just been like checking labels to see content and like actual ingredients, and I've been looking for, you know, ingredients on boxes that are just things I recognize and like whole ingredients listed, you know. And I've been trying to go to the farmer's market and get meat that was butchered and raised locally. And just eat like a ton more vegetables basically, and I feel a lot better. I've actually lost weight this year without exercising any extra, and with like not at all for several months of the year. And so I'm just trying to like live longer and
prosper.
And so I think the food, and then the essential oils, like, because I also don't like taking medicine and
we don't
stuff
do drugs
like that. Yeah, I mean,
Speak for yourself,
like to smoke
lady.
weed, but that's
marijuana's not a drug.
yeah, it's like medicinal. I should say I don't like to take like a pharmacy produced drug if I don't have to.
That's right.
I
prefer bathtub gin.
or some Epsom salt. I like, if I get a cold or something, I like to crush some garlic and like eat that instead of, and just
Ginger.
sweat it out. Ginger, like these things work.
They do.
And I know what's in it, and it feels natural, and I don't know, I've always kind of been like that. But I'm just trying to take it up to the next level.
There you go. I believe.
Thank you for that wonderful note,
You're welcome.
Self-care.
Self-care, yeah. Trying to be serious about it.
Holistic
'cause
healing.
Our health is our wealth.
It
And,
is.
for someone like me that likes to march and agitate and organize people to to like change the things that I'm pissed off about, in our society, like you can't do that if you don't have the energy to do it, if you don't have the love, of self and of other people to do it. Like if you're burnt out, if you're tired all the time, which happened to me, like you just burn out, you can't do it. And so this past year and a half really has been about me trying to figure out how do I sustain, like in a healthy way, that'll keep me going to do whatever work I'm passionate about for my whole life. I don't want to feel burnt out all the time.
Indeed.
Not me. I'm gonna.
She's trying to
You're
be
gonna burn
fried.
out.
An asshole.
She's trying to be fried all the time.
Oh man. All right. So what's next? We're running kind of late tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
well,
You gotta
that's
kind of, it's like about to.
it's time for the metaphysical moment.
Oh,
Shit.
okay. Like right now? Like just go?
If you want to, yeah.
Okay. Well,
Close us out.
let's close it
We
out.
even have a graphic for the metaphysical moment now.
Yeah.
Oh, I do?
Yes.
Okay. Shout outs to that. Shout outs to the graphics. Shout outs to the artists and the art. One love. Massively. I'm in a numerology, and this year is another step, man. Last year, 2017, 2 plus 0 plus 1, 3 plus 7 equals 10. 1 plus 0 is the 1. 1 is knowledge. And I was expressing to people about the importance of writing your goals down and using the 2017 numerology, the way the planets are in alignment to just boost your dreams. We are star stuff. We are bigger than the here and now. And what the Most High has for you is for you. What you dream is real as you believe it to be so. And there's power in the written word. Here we come into 2018. 2 plus 1 plus 8. That equals 11. 1 is knowledge. Plus 1 is knowledge. Equals 2, which is wisdom. And this year, this is the application of the knowledge. All of the wisdom that you gained from last year, if you were last year using that numerology to focus on yourself, your goals, and your dreams, you will see that it was uncannily lucky, that things just happened to work out just a little bit better. And in these times right now, in the duality, it is the testing. And to remember who you are, and that what is for you will be revealed ever so more in this year with wisdom. Wisdom. Knowledge is nothing. I know heat is hot, but only wisdom makes me know that I will be burned if I touch it. You can know things, but you cannot understand them until you experience them. And this goes through every possibility of who you can call yourself as a human being. You can never say that you are compassionate until you have loved someone who hates you. You can think that you will be benevolent until you give to somebody who never says thank you. Are you still benevolent? Are you going to become selfish? Are you still going to be a loving person? Are you going to be hateful? All of these different possibilities of who you say you are can only be known in truth. And that is how you gain wisdom. The ability to just know that you're the sum of who you have been. The chance now to use all of the knowledge and think of everything that you've learned and apply it to what is happening now, because all of the tools have been given. All of the dots have been placed on the map, and it's up to you to connect them. You know the masterpiece. You know what is ahead. You know that what is for you is real. It is out here, man. Shout outs to the book, The Alchemist. If you haven't read it, please read it. It's a very, very short book, under 200 pages, and it is the universal story of any person who dreams, starting with the fact that everybody doesn't dream, or if they do, but they don't remember their dreams when they wake up. And it's the same thing as someone who dreams while they're awake. Everybody doesn't do that. Everybody doesn't ponder of a better thing than what they are or where they are right now. So if by you, the nature that you are a dreamer, you should read the book, The Alchemist. You should think about the numerology. You should write out your dreams, write out your plans, any ideas you have to create and to make this world different than what you see. No matter how small it is divine. It is a beautiful and sacred thing to see more than what is in front of your eyes, to want to adapt, to want to innovate, to want to create, to want to expand. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Trust in yourself, trust in your intuition, trust in that still small voice. Because no matter what religion you are, when you pray, you are talking to yourself. So know that you've got all the answers that you're looking for. You just gotta believe. You gotta believe. Because if you don't, that's the deal breaker right there. It will never matter how much someone else believes in you. You gotta believe in you first. So in this 2018, believe in you. You got the power of the two. You already know. Use that knowledge. Use that voice. Use that guidance to shine. Shout outs to you. One love. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Mel.
So many wisdom nuggets.
Bucket full of nuggets.
Yes.
Oh, we need a new graphic. We need a bucket full of nuggets.
We'll see y'all next time.
Peace.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, your metaphysical.